Hey guys, how's it going? We are back for another Q&A. Brent is joining us yet again. He missed last week because we had some things that we had to get done for this week's videos to actually be able to go live. So last week's videos were what percent of annuals versus perennials are in our garden and why no fertilizer. And then we did this famous Michigan garden left me completely inspired. Beautiful garden, the Meyer Gardens, and then new plants, Lush Gardens, and where it starts, and that was the Proven Winners Trowel Gardens at Walters. Then I went to a unbelievable vintage shop, which was the Found Cottage, and then the Found Cottage also put on the Mercantile, which was our next video, and that's where I blacked out and I bought way too much stuff. And then the last video for the week was a look inside the gardens at Garden Crossings, which we got to go tour Heidi from Garden Crossings, her garden, which was really fun. It was a fun time. It was really cool to see all of that and see the trowel gardens, and the feedback you guys have given on that, like the amount of people who have ordered from her, is really cool to see. No announcements for the week, except for just want to remind you guys that videos are being filmed super far in advance. I think I talked about that in a video that you guys will see not this coming week, you'll see it the week after. Right. We're trying to get really far ahead because we are planning to take a vacation, and we're going to take a real vacation. There's dog hair in my peripheral vision. We're going to take a real vacation. We have never actually taken a real vacation. We've taken one vacation the entire time we've been together, but we still worked while we were on vacation. We brought our computers with us.
Right.
Still did computer work, still edited videos, and we have decided to not do that. So our goal is to have videos to be able to go live the entire time we're on vacation, but we are also deciding that we're not going to stress about it, and if we end up taking a couple days off from YouTube, we end up taking a couple days off, but we would like to be able to have things go live. So that's going to be sometime in October, maybe November, that we're going to be doing all of that. I don't think there's any other announcement.
I don't think so either. And the first video for from last week was what percent annuals and perennials is there a garden, and why no fertilizer? The first question was from Sabine. She had said, I don't see the fountain link.
So we're going to put a screen recording up right now because we get that question a lot about how to find the links on our videos to things. We've been trying to be better about putting the links in the comment section. We're not always the best about it, but on YouTube, if you're on your mobile phone, you have to hit the more button and then you hit more again. It's so frustrating that they do it that way. But that's where all of our links are. That's the links to like my Amazon storefront, the links to EdgeRite, the links to like when we do HoseLink, when we do things for like Proven Winners, when I have other people on our YouTube channels, all the links are in that. And so you just hit more and then you hit more again, and then you should be able to see everything. And every video has some type of link in it usually, because usually I'm talking about something or someone, or I use a product and we try to make sure that that product has a link in it, like with like my kneeling pad, with Felcos, with whatever I'm using. We do try to put those in the description down below.
But we do forget sometimes.
And the issue with us also putting the link in the comment section is that doesn't happen until like we wake up and we start moving in the morning, if it happens. But by that time, the video's already been live for a couple hours because it goes live 3 a.m. our time. It's scheduled, so we don't have to hit the post button. But usually the links don't go in the comment section until many hours later. But we are trying. But also, you can just hit the more button and then you hit more again. And if you click on our links, it does help us out if you guys check out our links.
And the next question was from Anne, and she had asked, what is the plant to the left of your chair? Enjoy your time off. Don't feel guilty. Love your channel.
Thank you. So in last week's Q&A, I just filmed by myself, and you could see there was a spiral that was next to me that was, I don't think it was looking very spirally. That is a orange twist, and it is a beautiful plant. The new growth comes out this orange color, and it gets these really pretty like berries in the fall time. Very beautiful. Growing it in a spiral, I don't think is the best, or in topiary form is the best, because it grows really fast. Like, I've had to prune on this thing probably 4 or 5 times just this year. Luckily I can prune on it. It hasn't had any burn from pruning on it, but I just think it would be really pretty in the landscape, just being able to just grow and do its own thing. It's very beautiful. I think it's warmer zones only. I think it's like zone 9 and above.
Okay, yeah.
but still really pretty.
And the next video from last week was this famous Michigan garden left me completely inspired.
It was so pretty. I want you to come.
It was amazing because I was here the whole time, but he brought back all this footage. I watched every second of the footage, regardless of what it was, while I was editing it. It was like, usually I kind of cut things out I can tell we don't want to watch. I watched everything. It was beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous.
I think after you saw all of the footage, he now would like to go to Michigan next year. If I get invited back to the whole Proven Winners thing, I think that he'll go with me, and we're already talking about like driving out there and
yeah, it could be a lot of fun.
And a trailer. Yeah, it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And the first question from that video was from Barbara, and she had said, "Wow, what an amazing place. There's no way I could do all that walking. Just maybe through that big giant greenhouse. Thanks for the tour. It looks so fun and interesting."
It was really cool. I will say that they have a trolley that you can ride, which is really cool. I mean, it doesn't take you into each of the gardens, but you get to drive past all of the gardens, and they slow down when you reach the gardens. It's not great if you're trying to film a YouTube video, but it is really cool to be able to actually I think they said it was like a 30 to 40 minute trolley ride, which, I mean, that's kind of a long time. And it's a whole guided tour, so they talk over everything and give you a lot of information that you don't get if you just walk the thing by yourself. So, I mean, I would still recommend walking the greenhouse, checking that out. That was beautiful. And then I also saw 2 benches inside the greenhouse, so you could also sit down for a minute in the greenhouse, which is really nice. And then you walk over to where the trolley is, which is by the kids' garden. And if you wanted to walk the kids' garden, that one was also amazing. There was lots of benches there. I didn't see a lot of benches throughout the rest of the garden that we walked, but then you could just hop on the trolley and you get to see everything. So I would recommend, if you live near Michigan, checking out the Meyer Gardens. Hands down, one of the coolest gardens I've ever seen.
And the size of it looked...
I didn't even get to see all of it.
Yeah, you saw just a fraction of it.
We had 2 hours to spend there, and we spent the full 2 hours there looking at everything that we could, and we still ran out of time. And we rushed through the gardens.
And the next question from that video was from Anne. And actually, it isn't a question, it's more just a statement. But it says, "Thank you so much for taking us along on this fabulous garden tour. I so appreciate you providing YouTube information to the Impatient Gardener and Coastal Homestead. It's nice to see this kind of collaboration these days."
It was really fun to get to film with them. I've met Erin a couple of times now. We met in Seattle when I was at the Northwest Flower Garden Show. And then we met at Bailey's. She was there when I went and toured Bailey's Nurseries. And then we got to meet for this Proven Winners one. So we've actually hung out 3 times now. We've chatted a few times. She is so funny in person. She has she has my sense of humor, which is kind of mean, but also like really funny. And so she has my sense of humor. And so her and I really she was able to kind of pick on me a little bit for certain things, and I was able to pick on her about certain things. And so we totally connected. I love Erin from the Impatient Gardener. I'm going to put her YouTube channel in the description down below if you're not following her. She has a wealth of knowledge. She's also dealing with jumping worms. She can't do the same method as me. We were texting about that. And then chiming from the Coastal Homestead, sweetest person you will ever meet. She is probably my biggest cheerleader. She is hands down amazing. She is so kind. She's always trying to get me to do things better and helping me do things better, and is just kind of a really good sounding board for me. And she does a lot more vegetable gardening, and I mean, her channel is called Coastal Homestead. I'll put a link to that in the description down below. If you're not subscribed to her channel, go subscribe to her channel. We are in the process of trying to help her get monetized right now. So if you don't know this, when you start out on YouTube, you don't make any money on YouTube at all. And you have to hit a certain number of subscribers, and you have to hit a certain number of watch time hours, and it's thousands of watch time hours. So you have to have your videos viewed for, I think it's 4,000 hours, which is a lot of hours. And so we're trying to help her get monetized right now. So go watch her videos, go subscribe to her channel, go tell her hi from me. She did some videos. If you haven't seen, we actually collabed on a video that you won't see over here, and we went over some of our favorite perennials over at Walter's Gardens. It's a really good video. We went over why they're our favorites. There's some new ones for 2026. There's some new ones for 2027 that are coming out on the market. It was a really good video, and we went over her favorites and my favorites. And so I recommend checking that video out because that was a really, really good one too.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. And since I wasn't there, I kind of got to live it through the video, and it was really fun. So
well, and like with Aaron and Chiming, they both film very different than how I film. My videos are more like hanging out with a friend, like FaceTime. Both of them are just like a wealth of knowledge. And they do really good instructional videos on how-to videos and deep dive videos. I don't do that. I just like hang out in the garden and do things wrong sometimes, most of the time. And so it'll be cool for you guys to see how I filmed things. Chiming actually just texted me. That's so funny. It'll be cool for you guys to see how I filmed it and how these events went through my eyes and then also through their eyes. Erin also did a full tour of the Meyer Gardens. And so on her channel, you'll be able to actually like deep dive to see it. Also, if you hear that rooster, it's not ours. It's a stray rooster.
And the next video from last week was New Plants, Lush Garden, and Where It Starts. And the first question or comment was from Alice. And they had said, the pace of this video is perfect. I enjoy rain also. I sit outside in it until it gets too windy. I appreciate you doing these tours.
You know, I loved that it was raining there. I looked like the crazy person because I was the one out filming in the rain. I think in that video you can actually hear Chiming saying, Robbie, what are you doing? And so I love the rain. Brent had texted me, and while I was out there, we had lightning, thunder, and a rainstorm.
Two nights in a row,
enough to where there was no power at the house. They killed power. And I told him, I was like, I am so jealous that you are at home enjoying the rain right now, because the rain is one of my favorite things, which is, I feel like, weird as a gardener, because that usually stops people from gardening. But when we did our side yard and I put the gravel in, I was working in the rain and I was just as happy as could be. But I'm so excited for rain here. To be able to sit under the gazebo in the rain, to sit in the greenhouse in the rain, I am so looking forward to those things. And the fact that you got to be home and enjoy the rain made me so jealous.
And the lightning those 2 nights it was incredible. We don't really get storms like that ever. And we had it 2 nights in a row. It was really strange.
And then nothing since.
The sky was lighting up every 15 seconds for probably a half hour, 45 minutes. So yeah, it was wild. But
I mean, I got a little bit of rain in Michigan.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I wish I would have been home, because I would have been in the greenhouse with a blanket, enjoying it.
And a lantern or something, because there was no power anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It was also 96 degrees. So
that's not great.
It was a little hot and humid.
And wet.
Yeah, very wet.
Gross.
And the next question from that video is from Roberta. She had asked, do they still have kitties roaming the gardens at Walter's Gardens? Let's do that again. Do they still have kitties roaming in the gardens at Walter's Gardens? I always love seeing them.
We do still have kitties. Actually, my friend Bethany from Chicago Gardener, she does rooftop gardening. She was like, how do I take these cats home? She's a crazy cat lady. And she was trying to figure out how she can take the cats home. Cats, very sweet. I think they have 3 cats. I only saw 2 of them, and the 2 that we did see were very sweet. They do not want to be picked up, though. We found that out. They enjoy being pet, not picked up. But yeah, they are there. And then I actually had gone back and filmed another tour at Walter's. And when I filmed that, I was with my friend Candace, and they just came flocking to my friend Candace. But she's also a cat person. I'm not a super cat person. They're fine. I don't hate cats, but I like dogs better.
And the last question from that video is from Patricia. She had asked, have you ever considered doing a section of natives? Since you're in the desert, what would that look like?
Well, we're not really in the desert. We're in a valley is where we're at. But natives for us is dead grass. where we are at in California, if we wanted natives, I mean, we could actually probably take a little drive and we could go get some footage and I can show you guys what our native landscape looks like. And you'll be like, yeah, no, never mind, Robbie. That would not be a fun show to watch. It's literally like, because where we're at, we're near, it's called the Vina Plains. And so it literally is like a plain. It's just dead grass. It's beautiful in the springtime. But then it dies and it turns brown. And that's what would be native for us.
Right.
Also tumbleweeds.
Oh, yeah. Forget about that all the time. Yeah.
So tumbleweeds and dead grass.
And not exciting.
Not exciting.
And definitely not pretty.
0% pretty. So, I mean, like, California natives, like, yeah, we've got some California natives in our garden. But I disperse them throughout the garden, but they're not native to our specific microclimate of California that we're at. Our small little climate is so ugly.
Yeah,
it's beautiful in the springtime.
Yeah, we're fortunate because we're really close to the Sacramento River, but that doesn't mean that that everything is growing.
No,
it's very, very dry everywhere.
It's very dry here. Yeah, which is funny because then you drive up to like where my sister lives, which is like 40-ish minutes from us, and it's like pine trees, and it's like things are green, and things are not that way here. We have oak trees.
Scrub oak.
Yeah. And then you go up a little bit further, like 45 minutes north of us, and like manzanita.
Yeah.
But also still dead grass everywhere. I hate manzanita. Yeah. It's not beautiful. It's not the most beautiful here at all.
The next video from last week is Unbelievable Vintage Shop, and I had to leave with very little. The first question was from Kat, and she had said, so everyone had the same sentiment. Rent a U-Haul, take 2 and 3 days, and drive home. When you first said you were doing Michigan, I thought for sure that's what your plan would be. You're your own boss now, right? Road trip with you and Jalen next year.
Okay, so they offered okay, so in the next video, they offered shipping at the market, and I'll go over that in the next video. But we are actually talking about next year flying out there, renting a U-Haul, and driving back. It would be like $2,000 to rent a U-Haul and drive things back, so we would have to like really make it worth it. But we're also talking about a couple other adventures in life, and so it might be really worth it. But I'm also looking at, there's this company who had a booth there called House on Horizon, and I've been talking with Brent about it, and they offer, I think like twice a year or something like that, week-long trips to Europe. And it's like $8,000. It's not cheap. It's very expensive, but it is a week in Europe, and it is a guided tour in Europe, and it is a like picking trip and a vintage trip. And so it's not like a sightseeing trip. It is like, I mean, a little bit of sightseeing and then a lot of like finding vintage items. And so it's $8,000. You get your, it's your hotel. It is your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, your transportation to everything. You get to go to these picking spots. And then you also get amount of square footage in a cargo container to bring back items. And so I'm looking into doing that. That is like, it's moved to the very top of my list of must-do items. But I think next year we are going to drive out there to Michigan. We're either going to drive our car out there to Michigan. We don't own a trailer, so we'd either have to rent a trailer from U-Haul, or I was even looking at trailers in Michigan, and trailers in Michigan are much cheaper than trailers in California. And so I was looking at, like, we could drive out there with the car, buy a trailer in Michigan, and then fill it up, and then come back home with everything, because everything was so cheap out there. Even the trailer, like I found like a covered trailer. I didn't even tell him this. It was $2,400, and it was a 6 foot by 12 foot long trailer.
good sized trailer.
A really good size trailer. And it was a covered trailer.
Yeah.
And it was one that you could actually stand up in, and it had a door on the side too. Okay. So it was like a really good sized trailer. Where in California, that's like $7,000 or more.
Far more, yeah.
So, yeah, we are definitely going to go back next year and
film away. Yeah.
Yeah, and film away and have a good time. So we'll take you guys along for a road trip on that one. You want to go next year to Michigan, right?
I would love to see. Yeah.
Yeah, because we both drove through Michigan. We drove to Maine.
Yeah, we had a great time. And we went about this time of year. It was beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was kind of felt, it was really beautiful.
We absolutely loved Michigan. We were only there for a couple of hours driving through it, and we just were like in awe of how beautiful it was. We also fell in love with Maine to the point where we were seriously looking at houses and getting ready to talk to a real estate agent about purchasing a couple places. Like, we went and we drove and looked at some of these houses that we were looking at online, except for the winters.
Yeah.
That scares me.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the winters
I
yet.
don't know how I feel about the winters.
I've never even lived in an area where it snowed or it froze.
Well, you lived in Magalia and it snowed there.
A little bit, yeah.
But it was like... and that...
Yeah.
It's really funny because when it snows that much around here, people lose their mind.
They cease being able to function at all.
Yeah. And like, I grew up in Paradise, which was also a lot of snow. Not a lot of snow in Paradise, but we would go four-wheeling up in the mountains, and like, that was like feet of snow. That was like 8 feet of snow up in the mountains. And so you go four-wheeling and you get stuck and you like dig yourself out. And like, I got used to driving in that snow because I was like probably like 10, 11, and we would all go four-wheeling. It's like a huge group of people, and like us kids, we would drive in the snow because what are you going to do? You're just going to hit snow. And so, I mean, I got used to it, but it was really funny to see other people in town, like an inch of snow, and people are freaking out.
The next question is from Miss Carter, and she had said, I've been thinking about your secret garden and really looking forward to seeing what you do. Have you ever been to Mackinac Island? There's a secret garden space by the Grand Hotel, and they do rivers of monochrome paintings in it and swap it out throughout the year. Rivers of tulips, rivers of alliums, rivers of hyacinth. It's so magical. I think your space is shady, so imagine the rivers of heuchera or rivers of hostas. Just a thought if you haven't already decided on something.
I've never been to Mackinac Island. I think if we go next year, that'll be something that we do, is Mackinac Island. My original goal for this last trip was actually to go to Mackinac Island, but it was like almost a 4-hour drive from where we were staying. And I don't think I have the time or the mental capacity to drive 4 hours with all the filming there literally just wasn't enough time, which kind of sucked because I would have loved to go to Mackinac Island. 4 hours to get to Mackinac from where we were at, stay the night up there. The cheapest hotel that we could find was like, I think it was like $300 a night, and that was like the cheapest decent place. And then like to stay in the Grand Hotel, so expensive. But no, I've never been to Mackinac Island. I want to go to Mackinac Island. When we go next year, we will go to Mackinac. And maybe that'll be a vacation for next year. Is like, we'll do a working vacation, so like we'll still work and we'll still film videos, but it'll be like, oh shoot, we missed a day, but we're still enjoying, because like we're not going to be able to film the full 3 days that it takes to drive home.
Right.
Yeah. But yes, I will be going to Mackinac Island. Just have not yet.
And the last question is from Julie. She had said, what city is that store in? I'm not too far from Grand Rapids.
It is in Hudsonville, and totally worth the drive. I think that's only like 15, 20 minutes from Grand Rapids. Yeah, go to the Fountain Cottage, check it out. They've got a great selection of vintage, a great selection of new, and they also have a great selection of clothing there also. I bought my blue corduroy jacket from there. There was a lot of questions about that blue corduroy jacket. You can actually find it on Poshmark and on eBay, and it's like $40 on Poshmark and eBay. Cute cute corduroy jacket. It's a women's jacket. Sometimes I buy women's clothing because it fits a little bit better, and honestly, like, women's clothing is way cooler than men's clothing. Men's clothing is so boring. I will try to put a link to one of the jackets down below. I will put a link to one of the jackets on Poshmark. It looks like there's a whole bunch of them for sale on Poshmark. It's a really great jacket. It's very cozy. It's oversized. I like it. I bought a size large.
And the next video from last week was I couldn't resist. I bought so much. And that first question was from...
I will say I had a lot of self-control because I could have bought so much more.
He did bring back a new piece of luggage, more like a giant chest. What is it?
It's just a suitcase.
It's a giant suitcase. The biggest suitcase I've ever seen he rolled up with.
Because we usually only travel with a carry-on. I bought a normal checked bag.
First question from that video is from Jeannie. She said, what do they do if it rains? Did your purchases make it safely back to California?
If it rains, the market still goes on and you shop in the rain. Most of the vendors had tents. So you just put your stuff out there. It did rain. One of my friends, her name is Jessica, she had a booth there. She's who I bought these sap pots from. When they were doing setup, it was raining during setup. So that was kind of a bummer. So they had to set up in the rain. Luckily, the rain stopped after that. And then, yes, all my purchases did make it back from California. Everything made it safe. They barely fit in my suitcase. I was fully prepared to leave clothing behind to be able to bring home my finds that I found. I even was telling my friend, I was like, I could have bought way more items. Turns out I couldn't have because my suitcase was 3 pounds over the weight limit. And so I'm in the airport having to like shuffle things around. I threw a couple things in the trash can that I just was like, no, we don't need that, I guess. Don't shake your head. I didn't tell him that. And yeah, it was, everything made it home safely. I flew out there with a carry-on item for having a week's worth of clothing, which was really, really hard because we were also going to a couple like nice dinners and things like that. And so that was really hard to travel for a whole week with only a carry-on item, with all of my filming equipment, my clothing for a week, nice clothing for a dinner. I ended up actually leaving a lot of things home that I really could have used, but I knew that when I was going to get out there, I was going to buy a bunch of vintage items and like cool things. And I knew I was going to do a checked bag on the way home. And we don't own a big suitcase. We've only ever traveled with carry-ons. And so we were out there and I had to like stop at TJ Maxx to buy a suitcase. But everything made it home. When I bought that beehive, the bee skeep, it's called something, a bee something. I'm calling it a beehive. I was with my friend Candace and I was like, do you think this will fit? And she's like, I don't think it'll fit. And I was, I think it will fit. And she's like, if it fits, it's going to barely fit. And it barely fit. Like my suitcase was like stretched. Like it was like not flat on the top. It was like slightly mounted because it barely fit. I even told her, I said, I am fully prepared to like go buy a saw and have to saw off the bottom layer of this hive to be able to make sure I can bring this thing home. And it fit perfectly in my suitcase. And then the giant cloche that I bought also fit. I put that one in my carry-on and I wrapped all of my clothing around it and everything got home safely. I should have bought more.
No. I went to pick him up at the airport, go to grab the big piece of luggage, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to need 2 people for this.
It was so heavy. Even my backpack, I bought this giant hook. I don't know why I bought this giant hook. I saw it and immediately needed it. And then after we left the booth, I was with my friend Candace and I said, why did you convince me to buy this hook? She's like, I didn't. She's like, you saw the hook and you said, I'm buying the hook, which is exactly how it went. And the hook was so heavy. How much do you think that hook weighs?
I have no idea, but it's a monster. It's what,
20 pounds?
Oh, it's probably not quite that, but it's
15 pounds?
Probably, yeah.
It's so heavy. And I had to have that on my back through the airport because that couldn't go in suitcases. It's huge. It's so cool. Next year we're coming back with a trailer full.
You're ridiculous.
It's fine.
And the next question is from Sabine. She said, can you store items at a friend's in Michigan and then you haul it back?
One of my friends actually said that I could store things in her barn, and that kind of stressed me out a little bit because I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna like actually be able to like get these things back home. And I was like, I don't want her to have to store anything for a year until we actually figure out what's happening. But I am very grateful that I do have friends out in Michigan who did say that I could store things at their place. I might still see if they would let me store some things if we know that we're going to go back next year, because there were some pieces of furniture at the Found Cottage that I really wanted, and they were such an affordable price, and they might let me store them back at their barn. A couple of them have barns. I've made so many friends in Michigan. I've got like 4 friends who have barns out there, so I'm sure that I could just store a piece here, store a piece there, store another piece there.
That's good, because it wouldn't fit in our house.
Stop. We're going to have to build a bigger house.
And the last question from that video is from JMW. It said, why don't you have things shipped home?
Shipping was so expensive. So when we were out there, we talked to the porter. So this is the first year they've brought on a shipping company to help like get things home to people. Very few people come from California to go shop these markets because shipping is so expensive. He was saying like per piece of furniture, it was probably going to be about $1,500 to $1,800 depending on the size of it. And that was not like one of the big, huge, massive pieces. That was like a normal size piece of furniture, because it would take days to get out to California, and it would just be so expensive. It takes 3 days to like drive. And so it's like paying for drivers to drive it out 3 days, the miles on the vehicle, putting these guys up in hotels for 3 days, and then 3 days back. It wasn't worth it for the furniture was so cheap, but it would be so expensive after getting it out here. And then I actually called a company called 2 Men in a Truck and asked them to like give me a quote on some pieces of furniture. And like, I was like, okay, if I bought all the pieces of furniture that I wanted, I was like, here's the pieces, here's some of the sizes of some of them, and then like a couple like big boxes, like, because I'm sure I would fill up some knickknacks and things like that. And they were like, yeah, we could totally do this for you. It would be $20,000. $20,000 in shipping to get it to California. So I said, okay, never mind. No, thank you.
It was cheaper if you were willing to wait 3 weeks or 4 weeks, or
it was still almost $6,000 to wait. Yeah. He was like, so 20 grand was okay, we can get it out to you in probably like 7 to 10 days. Yeah. And then the cheaper option was like, I want to say it was like $5,800 or something like that. So it was like $6,000. $5,800 or $6,800. I can't remember. It was like it was $6,000 or $7,000, which is still a boatload of money. I could go to Europe for, if it's $7,000, another one more grand. So for $6,000 or $7,000, he was like, yeah, we can get it to you in like 3 weeks. And I was like, I'm not paying that much for shipping. Yeah. That's insane. So that's why we didn't ship things out. And that's why now we're really talking about driving out next year and buying a trailer out there, filling it up and bringing things back here to California.
Mm-hmm. And the last video from last week is a look inside the gardens at Garden Crossings. And the first comment from that video was from Barbara. She said, happy you were able to see these gardens. If I remember correctly, when you were talking about this trip months ago, you would not arrive in time, and I thought, oh, you don't want to miss it.
I was not going to arrive in time. So Proven Winners flew me out there and a whole bunch of other creators out there, and they put us up in a hotel. And I was telling them, I was like, look, I'm going to miss the first whole garden tour. I was like, I really don't want to miss it. Would you guys pay for an extra night and help me pay for changing my flight so I can actually come out and do all of this? And they're like, no, we can't, because then we have to do it for everyone, yada yada, which is fine. And then I talked to a couple other friends who were also going to miss it, who did not want to miss it. And we all changed our flight. We flew out early, and we stayed. I was staying with my friend Bethany at her place. We crashed at her place. And so there was 3 of us there. And we got to basically be there early enough I was able to go do the Frederick Meyer Gardens. I was able to tour the downtown. And then I was also able to go to the Garden Crossings, which was so exciting. And I'm so glad that I just changed my flight and then was able to just crash at a friend's place that she was staying at. So it worked out so beautifully. And I'm so glad that I got to go tour that. Highly recommend you go check out Heidi's place. It's a garden center. It's open to the public. You can go tour the grounds of her place, and it was amazingly well done. She was talking about how the butterflies that they have, the butterfly house, how she's not sure if she's going to continue to do that next year, which is kind of a bummer. She said that it just didn't bring in enough attraction. People weren't really going there for that like they thought they would, and it's very expensive. I mean, she has to pay somebody to weed it. They can't use pest control in there, so they have to buy insects, and so then they're having to pay for insects to keep the insects out of it, to like keep plants alive in there. And so she's spending a lot of money for the butterfly house. So she's not sure if she's going to do it next year. So I recommend going and checking out the butterfly house while you still can, and telling her how much you love it so she continues it in the coming years.
Regardless, though, the place is incredible, just all by itself.
Yes.
Just every other portion of it would be enough to draw you in.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's so amazing.
And the next question was from Miko. She said, loved hearing Heidi talk about the plants. I'm going to try some patience again. I had no idea they didn't like fertilizer. As always, your video is fun.
I also did not know that they didn't like fertilizer, and I will also be growing some patience next year. If it's something we don't have to fertilize, that's going to save us money. It's going to save us time. And then they looked so good. They were so full. Were you impressed by them?
They were beautiful. I did not expect. I've seen them in the stores, but it just didn't occur to me.
I think it's like very specific, the Proven Winners ones.
Yeah. It would be amazing, especially if we don't have the pest issues that we have with the petunias.
Well, that's what she was saying, is that they don't deal with the pest issue.
That's
They don't have to fertilize. They can handle an extreme amount of water. Like one of the areas that they put them in was like a really wet, low area of their garden. Fabulous. We've got a couple of those. So I would really, really like to grow the Impatiens next year. I think that would be so good.
It'd be worth a shot. Yeah. Anything beats having to spray for budworm every week and hope and pray that it
that's exactly it. Like, I will still be growing petunias next year. I absolutely love the petunias. There's a couple varieties that I will grow. There's a couple varieties I won't grow. But there's so much work there. You have to spray for budworm. You have to fertilize them. I mean, just they're kind of a lot of work.
Yeah.
With some patience.
Yeah, the Impatiens sound like they're a lot more. Well, they're low maintenance.
Low maintenance.
So we'll see how they do in our climate. But
yeah, it'll be fun to see.
And the last question is more of a comment on that video, is from Marion. She had said, I've been buying and following Garden Crossings for years. They sell plants in every state, and plants have always come to my house in excellent condition.
So she takes huge pride in that. We got to see her whole behind the scenes of how they do their shipping, and how much of a success rate they have. I guess right now they only are shipping 1 day a week. So if you order, I think it's like they're shipping out Mondays or something like that. So if you order like also on a Monday, if you order Monday afternoon, you're not going to get your plants shipped out until the following Monday. Don't quote me on what day it is. Yeah, she takes huge pride in her shipping. She says that they have very little like failure rate of things showing up and things not being in good condition or things like that. She said a lot of it is like if you're ordering in California in the middle of summer and you order and plants, like it's hot out there and then it has to sit in the post office for like 3 or 4 days, or in the back of a post vehicle for 3 or 4 days, it's gonna cook. So like, I mean, if you're in California, don't order plants online right now. I was actually at Walter's Gardens and they're like, yeah, we have enough plants that all the plants that you guys saw that were like on those like tables, they're like, you guys can take all of these plants home. Everyone can take home about 30 plants. And I told them, I was like, I'm not gonna have you guys ship out any of these plants to me, because they were gonna ship them all out to anyone who couldn't drive or fly them home. I was like, I'm not gonna take any of these because they will come to my door dead, because they're gonna take 5 to 7 days to get to my door from Michigan. And so I didn't get to take any of those plants home. But anyways, Heidi takes great pride in her shipping, and I will be ordering annuals next year from her.
We got some things from her.
Yeah, she's actually sent us out a couple things. She sent me out the Junior Walker Nepeta that we have. We love that Nepeta. It's not a Proven Winners variety. She doesn't just grow just Proven Winners. She also grows other plants, but she does grow everything Proven Winners. She sent those out. What else did she
I
send
know,
out?
we got several things. And
She
they were
sent
all
out-
packaged beautifully.
Yeah, it was all packaged absolutely perfectly, which was really, really nice. So she does a great job at shipping. And I think her prices are cheaper than what we find annuals for here in California anyways. So save money on that anyways.
Yeah.
Might be worth it.
Yeah.
Actually, it will be worth it. We'll be
Yeah.
ordering annuals next year from Heidi.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt that she's kind and
Oh my gosh, she's
knowledgeable.
so sweet.
And
So knowledgeable, so sweet.
yeah.
Small family-run business. Her kids work there. Her husband works there. She works. I mean, great business to support.
And I was watching her videos this morning on YouTube. She has so many videos out.
Yeah.
Like
We'll also put her YouTube channel in the description down below. Go check that one out. Also, we'll put Chai Ming. We will put Erin. We will put my friend Bethany. We will put Heidi. We will put anybody else that we mentioned. Anyways, I think that's going to be it for this video. We're going to go make lunch. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. No other announcements?
Nope.
Okay. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye, guys.